Then I'm back upon the road in search of places grander, for that's the way I live my life, a travelling overlander.
I wanted to experience untouched wilderness, so I took a flight to the southwest corner. Explorer Matthew Flinders described this part of the world as the most dismal that can be imagined. But the very harshness of this landscape is what has saved it from human settlement. Although, in the grand tradition of Australian misadventure, a wealthy eccentric from Melbourne, Critchley Parker Junior, had dreams of establishing a new Jerusalem in the area to provide a homeland for the Jewish refugees of Nazi Germany. On the 28th of March 1942, Critchley enthusiastically set off to explore the region on foot. On the third day, the weather turned nasty. Confined to his tent, Critchley survived 3 weeks on nothing but aspirin and water, finally succumbing to starvation and the elements. His Zionist utopia, nothing more than a few scribbled lines in his water-stained notepad. There is something about being in a natural environment where you see no sign of human activity that resonates with one's very being, bringing on a feeling of calm and relaxation. No cars, no buildings, no advertising, no egos. Just oneself and the temple of nature, pure and untouched, not needing to prove anything or be anything, just being. All that noise and frantic energy of modern life, far, far away. I came back from my wilderness trip feeling cleansed and at peace. I really appreciated being able to experience such natural beauty. I decided to interview one of Australia's greatest environmentalists, Bob Brown, leader of the world's first Greens Party.
I came to Tasmania right back in 1972 because they were flooding Lake Pedder, and I'd seen that on TV, and I wanted to see the lake before it went under and find out what made those people fight against it. I also wanted to look for the Tasmanian tiger. I've been so enthralled by that as a kid, hearing about sightings and this marvellous carnivorous kangaroo. Well, I came here, the tiger, searched for the tiger with a couple of other guys for 2 or 3 years, and really came home how it had been driven to extinction, shot to extinction, and saw Lake Pedder before it went under, and then ran in to the people fighting for it. They were the first environmentalists to set up a political party. On March the 23rd in 1972, the world's first Greens Party was set up at an overflow meeting in that beautiful Hobart Town Hall. That was a reaction to the flooding of Lake Pedder. Then quickly after that, New Zealand, Europe, now all continents around the world. There's more than 80 Greens parties. And as we move into this new century, we're the new face of politics around the world in favour of social justice, the environment of course, peace, democracy, and turning this self-destructive materialist ethos, which has the world by the throat, round to a long-sided ethos which says, let's put a smile on the face of people 100 years from now by thinking of them in everything we do in politics. Here I am minding my own business in Launceston, and this guy stops me on the library steps and said, would you come down the Franklin River? I can't get anybody else to go. So I said, where's that? Next year, 76, rafted down there with Paul Smith, and it was the best 2 weeks of my life. Absolutely. Waterfalls, canyons, platypuses, sea eagles, ancient yew and pine forests, great ravines, and it was all going to be destroyed by a series of dams. So I got involved in the Franklin campaign. A few years later, ended up at the blockade, 3 weeks in jail, came out, and the day after I came out of jail, I was elected into the Tasmanian Parliament. The tide of environmental concern for Tasmania, for our lifestyle, for this wonderful island, the great advantages of not having been destroyed, that we can hand on to our kids, which is going to produce jobs as well as beauty, and a great feeling of pride. Being part of the Greens and turning the tide away from the hydro-industrial mindset, the industry mindset of the past, log, mine, dam, to the clean green future. It's been part of my pleasure to be in with that revolution of thinking which sets the chart for Tasmania's future. I've travelled a lot. I've seen the environmental destruction. I've seen the outcome of enmity and hate and division and poverty, grinding poverty. We're so well off here, and we can't ask people in Brazil or the Cameroons or Indonesia to save their forests if we don't save ours. And we can't ask them to work for a better planet unless we share what we've got. We're so privileged and lucky and secure here. I love the place, but we've got to look out to the rest of the world and set a standard by doing things properly ourselves, looking after this lovely little place so that we can share it with the rest of the world in the centuries to come.